tell me, what is Ohio's Safe at Home program? And for people that want to take advantage of it, how can I go about doing that?
Yeah, so we learned several years ago, and this was heartbreaking, that there were a group of people, in many cases women, but men and women, who had to choose between their personal safety or their right to vote, a choice nobody should ever have to make. And the reason why is because these are survivors of domestic violence, people that had somebody who was threatening their life. And so they didn't want to register to vote because that would make their home address available for people to find, including the abuser who was trying to hurt them. And so in this case, we had people that were choosing not to be a registered voter in order to protect their safety. And again, we wanted to fix that. Thankfully, Ohio did with a program called Safe at Home, which allows you to be a registered voter and shield your address from disclosure if you fall into a few categories. If you're a victim of violent crime, or if you have cause to believe that your life is in danger, such as if you have a restraining order against someone or whatever else. The way that you get started is by visiting the website safeathomeohio.gov. And when you go to that website, it talks you through the process. We try to make it pretty simple. The other really great way to do this is hopefully you're working with a victim advocate or a domestic violence shelter, something like that. If you're in those circumstances, we want to make sure that you're in connection with the professionals that can really help you deal with that and make sure that you have a good safety plan in place. Because, of course, this is just one part of protecting your safety and making sure that you can still be a voter. But again, if you're working with a domestic violence shelter or a victim advocate, they will be able to walk you through the program as well so that you can register as a safe at home participant. Jaden, what we do with this program is we give you what is basically a P.O. box. Normally, registered voters are not allowed to register to vote at a P.O. box, but with the Safe at Home program, you have that ability. And then if you get mail sent to that P.O. box, we operate it at the Secretary of State's office, and we allow you then to, we will forward you your mail.
Why do you think it has taken Ohio so long to address this issue for many people?
I think it was something that a lot of people didn't know was a problem, right? And this is the thing about government. If there's something that's not working as well as it should be, you should reach out to your state rep and your state senator so that they can fix it. Now, this is something that many states have only learned about in the last few years. Ohio was one of the first to do it. Other states are following suit. And it's just another manifestation of that commitment that we have to make sure that truly every election is accessible to every registered voter in the state. That's our commitment. We want to make sure that every voice can be heard in our elections, and that includes people that are in special circumstances like these. And we want to make sure that they are empowered to be a voter, because really voting is a powerful act. It's an empowering act. And especially for these individuals who are survivors of domestic violence, we want to make sure that they are empowered to have their voice heard in every election that we hold.
What early reaction have you been receiving about this new program?
The reaction is good once people know about it. The challenge is getting the word out. There are a lot of people who could take advantage of this who are not yet. And that's one of the reasons why I'm traveling the state trying to promote the program. For example, we're doing an event in Toledo today with the YWCA. The YWCA has well over 100 years of history of advocating specifically for women and domestic violence victims, and so they're a great partner in this, helping to spread the word. We're also been working with judges and prosecutors, and again, domestic violence shelters and victim advocates to get the word out. Once people know about it, then they react very positively. We've actually worked recently to rebrand the program, to refresh it, to make it, make sure that the website is relevant and easy to understand. At last count, we had something like 12 or 1,300 participants statewide. And in reality, we know that there's really probably, many thousands who could participate in this. And so we want to make sure that they know to visit safeathomeohio.gov and to get started right now with that program.
What partnerships have you developed in the process of forming this new program?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the YWCA in Toledo is one, and really statewide, the YWCA's we've been working all towns throughout Ohio. Really small towns that have these very volunteer-driven domestic violence shelters that are really amazing. groups of people doing great things to help Ohioans. We've also worked with the Domestic Violence Network in Ohio, which is a group of advocates all around the state. They helped us, for example, work to make sure that our website was relevant and safe for people to use. Jaden, here's a great example, and this was just heartbreaking to me that this even has to be there. When we first put a draft of our website together, we sent it to the domestic violence advocates at the Ohio Network, and they looked at it and they said, you need to put a button at the top so that people can quickly get out of the website. We said, why is that? And they said, well, if someone's living in a home with an abuser, and if they're caught visiting a website of victims, then their abuser might harm them as a result of that. And so we needed to create an opportunity for them to be able to quickly log out of that website and go to something like, just an innocuous website like the weather forecast or something like that. That's heartbreaking that some people live in a situation where they have to be concerned about their own safety in the comfort of their own home and unable to do something simple like log into a website.
How do you see this program benefiting the state of Ohio and people that take advantage of it?
Well, the way that this benefits Ohio is pretty straightforward. Ohio is stronger when every voice can be heard in a free and fair election. And that includes every one of our fellow Ohioans who's eligible to vote. We don't want to leave anyone out. And certainly these survivors of domestic violence are the kind of folks to have their voice heard in an election. And so that's what this is really all about, is making sure that no one is left behind when we hold an election here in Ohio.
Secretary of State Frank LaRose, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jaden. Take care. Talk to you soon.